Chris Geiger. Welcome to No Movies in Hell,
I'm LaCroix Scott, and today we are reviewing Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
which we saw together at a sneak preview.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
AMC.
you to AMC. Yeah. What were your initial thoughts going into this film?
So, after seeing the trailer multiple times, I thought it was going to be fun. I didn't think it was going to be very good. It struck me as
Okay.
a very Thor Love and Thunder kind of feel, where they're being very irreverent and very, using tropes from other things. The Dungeons and Dragons community is large and vast, right? It stretches, it's like Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson has a very diverse audience, rich people, poor people, across all, races, ethnic backgrounds, whatever. Everyone loves Harley. And I feel like Dungeons and Dragons has a similar appeal. And it spans generations, young and old. So it's interesting because it's a Hasbro movie, which I think Barbie is also a Hasbro movie. So they're breaking in to the movie content arena with their products. I don't think I realized that I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Same.
Full
Yeah.
disclosure. So I didn't realize that you bought a game. I didn't realize it was a product that you buy. I thought it was kind of I've seen people make their own figures and paint them and put them on social media, but I guess I didn't realize that it was you start with this board game.
Yes.
What
So
were
I've
your
been so I've been aware that it is a game and it is a storytelling game. But I've never played. So I didn't really know how this film was going to capture kind of more of the story. And I know that there are characters and things that show up even in Stranger Things, like they're playing D&D, the Hellfire Club. And so I think of that. But going into this film, I knew in the late 90s there were Dungeons and Dragons movies. Like I was aware of them, I've never watched them. So I'm like, okay, this is this a reboot or is this like something that's net new? And I think it seems like the story just didn't really seem very Dungeons and Dragon-y. I felt like it was very entertaining, almost like, you said Love and Thunder, like a Marvel film, like almost like they're starting and, there are these silly elements, there are these like storytelling elements. I appreciate that there's a lot of world building because I was like, how are you going to do this? From what I understand is, there's someone who narrates paths for folks to engage, and then you have, pieces that you play with. But in a film setting, it's like, okay, so how are you going to tell this like rich story and make it come to life? And I thought that they did this very well. I had kind of no expectations going into it. I seen the trailer maybe once or twice a couple of years ago. Even I went to go see a movie recently and they had the Dungeons and Dragons trailer on it, but the date was wrong for when it was coming out. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like it's out like in a few days, but they had like a different date. So I was like, oh, this is fascinating. I am pleasantly surprised. Like I actually like this film.
Agreed. I didn't expect it to be good, but it was good. And I think it's good in a family friendly way. So it definitely, you could take your kids. Like in my mind, whenever you see dragons, like I think of Game of Thrones, right? Which is not a very
Yes,
family
yeah.
friendly thing. So it's nice that you have like this sort of entry gateway movie into that.
Yeah, it was very like I thought that the storytelling was very good. Yeah, when I think of Game of Thrones kind of set the bar in terms of dragon design and kind of that type of era. But this was I really like this film for the way that they broke down the storytelling elements. Very entertaining and very engaging. And it seems like they put a lot of money around making sure the storytelling was right. And special effects were good. And so I was just really impressed.
Well, let's go to the slides. So you give this a 28 overall.
I
Um,
did. I'm surprised that I I'm surprised that my score was relatively high.
I give
And
it
you did 23.5.
yeah. So to me, it hit above average on a lot of the categories, but I wouldn't put it up at the 3 level. I think because we've been exposed to Game of Thrones and those sorts of dragon fantastical things, environments. I just felt like it wasn't up there, but it was better than average or what I expected going in. So 23.5 is a very respectable rating on my scale.
Yeah.
I did think I liked the costume of the red witch or whatever the woman who was Hugh Grant's puppet master. So I thought that was great. I did think though that they could have done a little bit more elaborate things with the costuming. The visual where the red lightning is coming down into the cup and dispersing below, that was very cool. Good stuff. What about you?
Yeah.
Any call-outs?
I mean, it's interesting. I really enjoy seeing Hugh Grant in his villain era. I think we talked very minimally about this after seeing this film, but Paddington 2 established him, he has a very prominent character as a villain. And in this, spoiler alert, I guess. Lead with that. He is a villain, and it is great to see him seemingly have a good time. There are some amazing cameos in this movie. Will not spoil that. It seems as though there are celebrities who are very much involved from, I guess, a fan standpoint that they would want to be in a film like this. And there are a number of cameos, and it's great. I really liked the costuming. I feel like, especially, the Red Witch, when she would turn from the red to blue, I thought that was really great special effects. There are also some really great shots of overhead shots that turn into kind of the real life and chasing different characters as one character kind of morphed into many different animals. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's really cool. And it's like you kind of get that first person view of things that I don't see in many other films. After that part, which happens probably in the first third of the film, I was like, oh, they spent a lot of money on making sure that the special effects were right. And the jokes were really, really good. Like, things weren't very stale when it comes to things that are more in the like adventure, action, fantasy category. And I think the audience reactions to certain things that, again, not playing the game, don't know, but I think there are a lot of audience reactions around certain things that happen happen within the game versus, that we see come across on the screen. So I thought it was good. I thought it was really good relative to what I've seen so far in the fantasy action genre so far. And we're almost a third into the year.
Yeah, I do think they did a good job of not taking it too far down the path of D&D knowledge, right, required to enjoy the movie. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they did a good job. Do you have anything that you would like to plug in this episode?
Well, we have a lot of films reviews ready to go. So looking forward to sharing more with you. How about you?
No, I am going to see a documentary tonight about Korean performance artist. Moon is the first TV. Moon was the earliest TV, I think it's called. So that should be interesting. It's playing at Film Forum, and I think it's going to come out at AMC as well. I think I saw a promo for it there. But probably very limited release in AMC. So that should be interesting. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.